This is Trend Following Radio, where great thinking comes alive. Nobel Prize winners, legendary traders, best-selling authors, and the pros that know what drive us irrational human beings. I am your host, Michael Covel. Not filtered, raw, honest. That's my passion.
One of the more interesting comments that I've seen in the last handful of months was this guy, SBF, the guy that took down this exchange, lost all this billions of dollars, or stole. I guess we'll find out. But he's a big left-wing guy, supports all kinds of woke causes. And he came out and he said it was all a scam. He was just doing it because he knew there was power to say, I'm woke. He knew that half the world would embrace him if he said he was woke. Only a psychopath can think like that. A sociopath can think like that. Real people don't operate like that. Real people would rather not have money, be living in the jungle, than spend their life lying like a little Weasley MF to curry favor. But this is where we are today. This is the mindset that is coursing through the veins of society. Sure, some people may believe the woke precepts, but the vast majority don't. They're doing it for power. They're doing it for hopefully money. Because as long as you trust the system, let the system take care of you, you'll be okay. Now, how does that okay actually work? Markets have to go up for everyone at the same time. It's a mentality built on no outliers, no surprises, no black swans. It's a mindset where the people, the system that they are under, all pretend that there are no outliers, whether in markets, in individuals, or groups. Everyone is equal regardless of effort. That's a really messy place to be living, a messy place to have your mind. I saw it said the other day, diversity is conformity. Diversity is the new conformity. Because what is diverse today? Look around. Costco, McDonald's, Pfizer, Apple, Burger King, the curriculum at schools. Do you see anything that's diverse? No. The system wants everyone in a state of equal. Now, they're not really equal, but they want them in this state of equal, this mindset of equal. So when the contraction happens, when the plunge happens, when the meltdown happens, when the bubble bursts, you accept it. You accept it like the slave that you are. You sit there and you take it because you have no other strategy. You gave in to the Borg. You decided that diversity was wonderful. And diversity is what? Diversity is conformity. Diversity is the same. What happens in modern life is a word comes along, like diversity. We all know what the definition is, but that's not what it means anymore. Diversity means the same. Diversity means that you bend over. Diversity means that you conform. You want to go compete for a job or compete to start a business? No, we will take care of it for you. We will handle everything for you. Just believe in our religion. Believe in diversity. Again, diversity means conformity. Diversity does not mean diverse. There is very little about modern society that is diverse. Think about the great things that we don't have in common. Now, that's an interesting thought, isn't it? The great things that we don't have in common. Can I be canceled for even saying that? Can you be canceled for thinking that? What are the great things that you know? What are the great things that you do that you don't have in common with your neighbor? That used to be the aspirational way of living. I worked hard and I practiced at something. Whether you were a 13-year-old on the baseball field like me playing as a catcher, I needed to be able to throw the ball down to second base better than the other guy if I wanted to play. And some other guys that weren't as good, most likely they took their talents to somewhere else, some other game, so to speak. And they probably became better at it than me. But this is fun. Everyone is not equal. Everyone can never be equal. Equal's not the goal. But let's face it, we all exist in a world where about half the population, in their mind, since they are a part of the matrix, they are a part of the system, they don't think independently anymore, they imagine this equality. They imagine this diversity. So what do you do to get around it? If all these people exist over here and they can never imagine a black swan, they can never imagine a bubble, they can never imagine anything going wrong, they will trust that the government will take care of them, will tuck them in bed at night, give them a kiss on the forehead, and if they're lucky, a kiss on the lips. What do you do if you exist in a world like that? For starters, you probably don't talk out loud. You probably keep to yourself. You keep your opinions to yourself. And you find an approach, you find a mindset, you find a system that takes advantage of human behavior. Yes, you find a system, an approach that takes advantage of human behavior. Advantage of human behavior. Meaning, when all the lemmings are running one way, you're not. When they're all falling off a cliff, you're not. You're putting yourself outside of them. You're able to see what they are. I think this type of mindset is really helpful if you were, for example, to go down the trend following path. If you go down the trend following path and you're a woke, fucked in the head lunatic, I don't know how it works. It probably doesn't work. Because I've yet to meet any trend following trader, any person involved in the trend following world who's not a contrarian, who doesn't think deeply about the issues, whether that's in their investing approach or their life approach. I've shared it on this podcast before. And I'm lucky because I've had a chance to meet so many interesting people, either through the podcast or in person. Shoot, for my documentary film years back, I interviewed over 100 people in person. And for this podcast, I have no idea how many people I've spoke to. Hundreds, over 500 maybe. But I still recall, and this is the story that I wanted to share, I still recall meeting Ed Sakota for the first time. And we were sitting at a little cafe on a beach. And he was dressed in shorts and a t-shirt. And I'm not going to tell the story again where he asked me about the turtle traders. But I will share with you that I had to do something to meet Ed again. What did I have to do to meet Ed again? I had to read Atlas Shrugged, Ayn Rand's novel. Essentially a blueprint for all the crap that we're living through these days. Duplicitous people, corporations taking over, people leaving the system, people escaping the system to get outside the system. Pretty amazing that Ed wanted me to read that. It must have been in 2001, 2002. I've not read it again. I guess I should, but it was long, very long. And I got the point because I had already been down the path to some degree with my understanding of government, having grown up in the Washington, D.C. area. That was an eye-opener for me, that somebody like that, this world-famous trader, wanted me to read this book before I could carry on a conversation with him. Now, of course, I did continue to have conversations with Ed, but the book never came up. He never asked me anything about it. He just wanted me to read it. So there was no test. There was no checking in to see if I had done my assignment. In a way, because one man like Ed can only become close personal friends with so many people. He's just one guy. In a way, he was seeding me, just making sure that I would carry on the message. Not that he knew I would be doing this podcast all these years later. But clearly he was comfortable enough in his own skin and looking forward enough to know that what Rand had written about, I believe this book was the 50s, was unfolding. Now it's really unfolding now. Everyone can see that there is this takeover, so to speak. And you have to figure out, how do you exist in the takeover? Now, before somebody thinks I'm a conspiracy theorist, I mean, I could be on some issues for sure. But what has changed? You might be saying to yourself, if you don't agree with me, you might be saying to yourself, well, what's the big issue, Mike? Well, free speech, for one. We all have to censor ourselves now. We cannot say what we believe without consequence. If you have beliefs that go against the grain, that go against the orthodoxy of the system, if you speak out, you will be terminated. This is the process. This is what is unfolding. And I've seen associates, friends of mine, not many, who really get upset by the idea of Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged or Ayn Rand. They just see her as, I guess, a grifter, a teenage wannabe. This is the kind of thing you do when you're a young person. You get angry at the government, but when you get old, you're supposed to believe in the system and go along with whatever it says and just sit there like a good little boy and be patted on the head. I say, fuck all that. You only live one time. One damn time. So you have to figure out, how do you navigate this shit show that's been thrown at us? Do you trust that they will take care of you and your money? Then go along with it. If you don't trust that they will take care of you and your money, then you probably just need to be quiet and adopt a new strategy, something like trend following. Something that puts you in a place that when the world goes to hell in a handbasket, that you can navigate, that you can swim through the chaos and come out on the other side. But here's the kicker. You probably don't want to tell anybody that you're coming out on the other side. You don't want to share with anybody your success. You want to keep as low a profile as possible. Now, that probably would have been different 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. You could raise the flag, so to speak, beat your chest, and proudly say, I achieved such. Today, not unlike Atlas Shrugged, the achievers know that you're a target. So it's better to find your strategy of achievement, to find your policy of achievement. Go do it. But don't talk about it on Instagram. Don't talk about it on Facebook. You can share bits and pieces. We all have friends and family that want to keep up with us. You might even have a following of people that want to hear what you have to say. But it's not the time to say too much. It's the time to keep things close to your vest. It's the time to save. Save energy, save resources. Now, that doesn't mean saving is a investing strategy. That's not what I'm saying. But it's time to be careful. It's time to be aware of your surroundings. I feel very fortunate, whether it's the people that are listening to this podcast, whether it's my friends that have appeared on this podcast, whether it's the strangers that have appeared on this podcast. I feel like I've got this network of feedback that's very helpful for the point in time that we are in today. And you need one too. You need that. You don't want to be out there all alone in the middle of the shitstorm, so to speak. You want like-minded voices surrounding you. And all the other voices, and I'll paraphrase a little bit from Nassim Taleb, cut it out. It's not going to help you. I mean, there's absolutely nothing that's being said on CNN or Fox or MSNBC or the Washington Post or the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal. Nothing is being said in those publications, those channels, on a daily basis that can help you to profit. And by profit, I mean more than just money. Nothing in those publications can help you. Those publications are designed to keep you in a state of trusting the system and worrying, being nervous. Turn it all off. Find some great novels. Find some great podcasts. I don't know how many great podcasts there are, so to speak. Some of the most popular podcasts in the world are controlled opposition. They're fake. They're pretenders. So you have to sift through it to find people that have a real voice, people that are still not co-opted and taken over by the system. Maybe you're saying to yourself, I don't know, this guy Mike, he's taken over by the system too. Do a little homework. I'm about as outside the box as you can possibly get, and I love it. I love being outside the box, mentally and physically. It's time to stand for something. And if you stand for something, it's easy to find some success. Most people don't stand for a damn thing. Most people stand with big corporations. That's their love. That's their religion. I want you outside of the groupthink. I want you in a place where you control your own destiny. Yeah, I know. This sounds like some crazy motivational pitch today. I guess it is. And maybe it's a pitch to myself too. Just to say, fuck all that. I mean, I pretty much have said that in my life and how I live. But I want you to join me. Go there. Get outside. Get the hell out of the box. And I can promise you, if you have this attitude, what I'm expressing right now, if you can find this attitude, if you can believe this attitude, if you can say it in your own way, if you can put it in your own words, then and only then, you'll be outside of it enough to find some profit and to put into good use something like a trend following approach. But let me save you time. If you are just sitting there, like I have said on this podcast for years, if you are sitting there laying in bed every night looking to the ceiling and waiting for a government official to come down from somewhere and give you a kiss on the forehead, and maybe if you're lucky, a little kiss on the lips, and to solve every problem for you, to hear your complaints, to hear your whines. If that's what you want, why the hell are you listening to me? Kick me out. Because I'm just going to piss you off every day, every week, every year. I promise you. That much I guarantee.
I see a time when those awake will understand how to make money in up, down, and surprise markets. Whether new trader or experienced, college student or financial advisor, protecting against a crash or just trying to make a lot of money, trend following offers everyone an answer in uncertain times. To get started immediately, send me an email, michael@covel.com. I will send you the right trend following steps to take along with my free video. But if you want to buy and hold, trust the government and trust Wall Street, this is absolutely not for you.